What's up, a Cinema Shogun here, and it appears that Britney Spears' mother has reached out to her in an attempt to smooth things over, and she's even apologizing about the conservatorship. And I really want to know how you all feel about this. But first, I want to go over the post that Britney Spears made that triggered this response from her mother. So let's just go ahead and dive right in. I can understand that my posts complaining about my past may seem consistent. Oh, by God, yes they do. It must seem like I have an extremely hard time letting it all go. Yes, it does. But for me, the real problem to me is that my family to this day, honestly, have no conscience whatsoever and really believe in their minds they have done nothing wrong at all. They could at least take responsibility for their actions and actually own up to the fact that they hurt me. For me, just a genuine apology would help give me closure, but it honestly blows my mind every day of my life, even after what is known what they did to me, they still act as if that's okay. Their reaction to it shows that I don't have a family that values me or respects me at all. That's the hard part for me. And as much as I loved them, is something that I'll probably won't ever be able to get over. When I post in these moments or in those moments, I just want to speak from my heart because it's extremely hard for me. And when I look back and see how many people say get over it, I'm working on becoming stronger. PSSSS. I have written 3 different versions of my book and had lots of therapy through the process. Was it worth it? Not so sure. Here's to a new day. Rolling eyes emoji. I will make sure I work on becoming a very good person for the Americans. Man, Britney always has to get that sarcastic dig in at the end that even, at least for me, even if I were to sympathize with her in this post, that last line right there blows every shred of sympathy away. I find it funny how she starts the post with, I can understand that my post complaining about my past may seem consistent and that I have a hard time letting go. She acknowledges that and then goes on to complain even more. You know, it's like the lack of self-awareness, but actually she is self-aware and then goes on. I don't know what's worse. If you have a lack of self-awareness or you're aware of what you're doing and you just acknowledge it and then go on to do the exact same thing right under the acknowledgement of that. All the part about, her talking about what she went through and all that stuff, it's become repetitive. And it's listen, I sympathize with her still to this day to a certain extent. But as I look around and the world is crumbling around us, people are having a hard time affording gas, rent, living their lives. I just watched half of Florida be freaking wiped out by a hurricane. Do you think I really care that Britney is traumatized by the fact that her Pepsi ad didn't look good enough to her? Or she's mad that during the conservatorship, she wasn't treated like a star the way she wanted to be and her limo wasn't outside of her jet? Britney's problems, even the bigger problems within the conservatorship, which I agree are horrible, they're minuscule to me when I look around and look at real life issues, so I feel like constantly in these videos, people want me to sympathize from a different angle. You have to remember that for one, I'm a dude, so I don't view these situations from a woman's perspective. I view it from more of a man's perspective. Also, as far as sympathy goes, I'm a sympathetic person, but I can't sympathize with a multimillionaire to the same extent that other people can when her problems don't seem to be as bad as what she made them out to be. Now, she has to end this with, I will make sure I work on becoming a good person for the Americans. And it's really out of touch for me because Britney is American. And Britney Spears walked barefoot into a freaking gas station bathroom. That's America. You know, Britney very much represents, like, isn't she from like Louisiana and stuff? That's America. You understand what I'm saying? So she acts as if she's not an American. And in her post, she acts like she has things against Americans. And I feel like in her mind, she believes that she's British. That's why, like, it's so out of touch when I see these comments, but it's sarcastic or what have you. But she says that she could let it go if she got a simple apology or something from her mother. Well, just so happens her mother saw this post and she had this to say. I am so sorry for your pain. I have been sorry for years. I love you so much and miss you. Please unblock me so I can speak to you in person. Britney, deep down you know how much I love you and miss you. I apologize for anything and everything that's hurt you. And in my mind, that's her apologizing for the conservatorship. Any and everything that's hurt Britney. And Britney's made it clear that the conservatorship is what hurt her. I find it weird, this public battle between family members. It plays out like an episode of reality television, especially when you consider the fact that these people are one email or phone call away. Hell, Britney doesn't even have to pick up her own phone. She can have an assistant do it for her. You understand what I'm saying? And it's just weird that we always have to watch this publicly play out. That Britney's mom has to comment on a social media post as opposed to them just talking. And it makes it almost seem fabricated in a way. But I don't know how to feel about it. Obviously, there's things that happened within that conservatorship that I don't agree with. And you don't have to necessarily agree with all of the family's choices. But what I want to know from you all, try to put yourself in their shoes. Maybe not in the shoes of someone who's dealing with a celebrity daughter who's dealing with mental issues, but just as a person in general dealing with someone with these issues. You know, sometimes there's hard decisions that have to be made. Think about it. Your close loved one, your daughter, your sister, your mother, randomly just starts spinning out of control in your living room. Just spinning all over the place. Like a freaking top or something. You know what I'm talking about? And they're just spinning uncontrollably while constantly wearing the same brown heels, while constantly swaying side to side when you talk to them and getting naked for no reason. How would you handle that? Now, I mean that kind of sarcastically, but in reality, there's a conversation to be had there as a family. Now, I'm not saying I agree with everything in the conservatorship, but as a family member, and when you see someone struggling, how would you handle it? What decision would you make? Do you think that sometimes people are forced to make hard decisions for their loved ones that are going through mental issues? Do you think that sometimes they can make decisions that maybe aren't the right decision in the heat of the moment? Sometimes you might think something is the right thing for someone when it's really not. Or sometimes maybe the thing is the right thing for someone and then it goes too far or it goes left field. There's various different explanations, but I think that we shouldn't necessarily be so judgmental over Britney's family or of Britney's family. I know they've done some things that I agree with is definitely wrong, but what I'm meaning, not throughout the whole duration of the conservatorship, but just in the decision-making process of trying to bring it in and take the reins for a moment to get Britney's life together, or to get anyone's life together for that matter. How do you all feel about it? It seems like it's a very difficult decision to make, you know? Like, let's be honest. It's a very difficult decision to make, and I don't think we could blame people for certain decisions they made, whereas there's other things that I think we can criticize and we can hold against them. But what I'm mainly focused on here in the conversation that I'm having and what I'm talking about is that initial commitment, you know, from family and friends to acknowledge that there's something wrong with their loved ones and to try to do what they can to help. I think there's a lot of people out there that wish they had someone that would try to help. But at the very least, regardless if you agree with their decision-making skills or regardless if you hate their guts, Britney can't go on saying that there's been no attempt by her family to reach out to her or to apologize or to talk things out, because we're seeing it publicly that they are, or at least her mother is. So I want to know your thoughts about all of this down in the comments below. Obviously, this is a complicated situation, and I want to know where your head's at about this situation. But while you're down there, hit that thumbs up button, hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell, and I'll talk to you all in the next video.